All right, so I've been getting a lot of questions about what type of keyboard should I get if I'm a beginner, whatever, I'm just starting out, what kind of keyboard should I get? So I'm basically just gonna take you through Amazon. I literally just typed in piano keyboard, kept it super basic because I wanna run through just some different things you need to look for when you're buying a keyboard, especially if you're a beginner. I don't really believe there's such thing as like a beginner piano. I think that's not a good way to look at it. There's just a few features that we really have to look at to understand, right? So if we scroll down, like we're gonna see things like this, a lot of sponsorship. Like this could be cool maybe if you're like a traveling music producer or something. But anyways, if we're talking about really learning piano and being able to perform, great piano songs down the line and things like that, I'm going to tell you everything you need. So first thing we need to talk about is a keyboard size. So you'll notice keyboards come in a lot of different sizes, right? Like this one only has 49 keys. This one has 88 keys, 88 keys. This one has 61, right? 88. So 49, 61 are not full-size keyboards. 88 is fully sized. And I have a full-size keyboard right next to me. And what it means by fully sized is that do you get the lowest of the low notes and the highest of the high notes? 49 key keyboards will only go from like here to here or something. And then 61 will have maybe here to here. But 88 gets you all the amount of keys you want. So I think that's really important. And, if you get the 88 keys now, you just won't have to buy another keyboard later. And that's a big thing. They are more expensive, but it's worth it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about with keyboards is what are called weighted keys or not semi-weighted or non-weighted. Most smaller pianos, 49, 61, are not going to come in weighted. And what weighted means is that the keys are heavy, so it actually feels like a real piano, right? It has weight to it. They're not just like little toy plastic keys. They're real keys that have weight like a real piano. And what this allows for, most importantly, is soft and loud playing. I can play this loud. I can play it soft. And a lot of in between, right? So that's really important, and only weighted keys can give you that feel, right? So always look for weighted keys if you want that ability to play soft and loud, which is honestly one of the most important things about a piano. So that's another thing to look for. I'd always recommend 88 keys that are fully weighted, not semi-weighted, but fully weighted. You'll get the best sound out of it. And once again, it'll just last you longer in your lifetime of playing piano. You won't need to get a new piano later because yours doesn't have that. All right, next thing we got to talk about are speakers versus, built-in speakers versus headphone slots versus not built-in speakers. My keyboard here actually does not have speakers anywhere. If I was not connected to these giant speakers here, or just any speakers, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. It plugs into the computer, so I could hear it that way, but you need external speakers for certain keyboards. So that's another small thing to look for. For me, I already had speakers laying around and a setup like that. Not everyone does, so built-in speakers can be very, very helpful. A lot of Yamahas mostly have them and things like that, So another feature to look out for, do they have a headphone slot? You want to look for that. It's good to be able to plug in headphones to them. And, that's an important thing. All right, couple more features here I just want to go through. And like I was saying at the beginning, there's no one perfect keyboard for any beginner, right? These are just all features that are going to affect the price that you have to think about what you want and is it going to make it last longer for you versus needing to upgrade down the line. So the next thing is pedals. Some keyboards are, let's just see if I could find an example here. Like this one, for example, right, has 3 pedals. That's a pretty cool feature that really emulates what a real piano has. We use these 3 pedals to like sustain notes using the right one. The left one's a soft pedal. A lot of times the middle pedal doesn't actually do anything. Sometimes it does, but it really depends. But the right and the left are common use. So that's a cool thing. Not all keyboards can have 3 pedals attached. Some can only have 1, like I have here. And I could probably still attach 3 to this one, but this is called a sustain pedal. This is the main one we use. Just rings out the notes if I let go of the notes. So sustain pedals are important, but once again, not all keyboards have that slot for them, so make sure they do. Last couple things here, and then I think, I can recommend just a couple keyboards that I think are good, are the knobs, buttons, and sounds that keyboards can come with. So like this keyboard I have, this is called the Roland Juno DS88. I got this because I actually write and produce a ton of music. So I wanted something that had, the ability to do things within my computer. I could use this for performing on a stage if I ever wanted to. It's got so many features for that. It's got literally thousands of sounds and libraries, like all these orchestra sounds, horn sounds, and tons of them within them, synthesizers, all different things. This is a really cool keyboard. These are like $1,000 bucks, but like I said, I needed this because I produce a lot of music. Sometimes I perform. I needed an all-in-one, not just something trying to be a piano. So those are like things you have to consider. If you want to write music, plug this into your computer, produce music, perform on a stage with it, having some of these knobs, faders, and arrangers built into it can definitely help. It's not necessary, but it can definitely help. Unless, once again, if you're just trying to play piano, you just need to be able to have a piano sound and plug into some speakers. So that really covers all the main features. Now, the more features you go for, the more expensive things get. So if you are a beginner and you're looking to buy your first keyboard, I would go with something, and I'm not sponsored by any companies, by the way. I do recommend companies sometimes or send Amazon links, but I don't actually communicate with these companies or refer them for any reason. Yamaha is a very great brand. If you go over here to brands, the best ones I think are Yamaha, Casio, and Roland. Those are the most, well-known piano, manufacturers. There's a lot of new brands coming out. Donner's not bad. Alesis has some good ones. Some of theirs are okay. Rock Jam, good for kids and stuff, but not great for piano. But I like to really trust some of the bigger brand names. Roland, Yamaha, Korg, Kawai. Any of those are going to get you better quality. And what we mean by quality is just, one, the way it's built, how long it'll last you. These are more digital pianos that have built-in stands here. How long it lasts you, and just the overall quality. The sound is so much better. It sounds real. It's more inspiring. A lot of these manufacturers are just basically making the exact same keyboard as their competitors and just putting their own name on it, and it's a lot of the same stuff. They're not terrible. Anything that you can learn on is going to help you. If it has keys on it, you can learn how pianos work and how to make songs. Just when you have weighted keys, fuller range, things like that, you can really start developing your technique and take it a lot further. And like I said, they just sound so much better and it's more inspiring. These cheaper keyboards with the plastic keys, they sound terrible. They can only make one volume sound, so nothing ever sounds great. And the last thing I want to mention here is just when you buy a keyboard, try and think long-term about it. A lot of people are like, oh, what if I spend the money and then I don't stick with it or I don't use it? Don't worry about that. If you're buying a keyboard, just commit to it, and it's never worth it to sell it or give it away unless you really, really absolutely had to. It's always worth it to just keep it around. You may play it once a year, twice a year at first, but in 5 years, 10 years, you're probably going to want to pick it back up again if you did decide to quit. So it's better just to already have it. So commit to a good one. It costs a little bit extra. If you can afford it, it's great. If you can't, get what you can right now. But hope that helps you make a decision. If you are looking for really specific recommendations from me, just go to my website, digitalpianostool.com, hit that shop tab, and you'll see I have a few keyboards up here. This one is semi-weighted, but it is the cheapest, so I did put it on here. If this is all you can afford, I would recommend that, but I really like the Yamaha P series as well as some of these nicer Roland ones. These are between $400 and $700. Like I said, though, they're worth it. And then you'll also, if you're getting a keyboard, you will need a stand. I definitely recommend a Z stand over an X stand. They're much more height adjustable and just much better overall. Once again, a little more expensive, but worth it in the long run. And then if you're ever looking for books as well, self-learning books, just different books around music, I have those as well on that shop tab, and they all link you directly to Amazon. And then you can also always hit Facebook, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, any of those sites, and look for used keyboards. Just make sure that the keyboard fully works, and you just have to check every key. If you ever go to check it out, just make sure every key works, because if a key is broken, it's not an easy fix and it can actually be expensive. But you could find a really good deal as well looking for used keyboards and pianos. So hope this video helped you with all you need to buy your first keyboard.